in front of the dais so you're not shooting right down.
Okay.
Thank you for bearing with us there. We have no formal action as necessary at this point in time pursuant to closed session. So now we'll open up the meeting to public comments. The council's intention is to preserve the level of respect, courtesy, and civility required to successfully conduct the public's business. In this regard, the council should be addressed during public participation as a collective body and not individual members. In order to respect the speaker's time, council members will not engage in a dialogue or debate with the speaker. However, council members should feel free to ask the speaker a question or questions once recognized by the council president for purposes of clarification. Council members can offer comments on a speaker's remarks once the speaker has concluded his or her comments in their allotted 5-minute time frame. Anybody for public comment?
Hello, Marty Kraft-Winker, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Good evening, members of Town Council and Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today. My name is Marty Kraft-Winker, and I'm honored to represent Browns Mills Improvement Association, BMIA. The earliest record of the BMIA annual wish list dates back to 1984, when the newly elected BMIA president, Charles Graff, sought to present the mayor and township council with a list of priorities before the budget was prepared. This tradition of collaboration continues to guide our efforts in seeking improvements for our community. Building on these efforts, we look to 2025 with a new wish list to improve life in Pemberton Township. Engaging our 563 online members, we've identified priorities that reflect both past initiatives and current community needs, shaping a comprehensive and forward-thinking vision. First, we propose a systematic township-wide code enforcement program to tackle deterioration in our community. This initiative will ensure that existing laws are enforced effectively, and the fees collected could potentially fund an additional code enforcement official. We envision a farmers market at Reflections Park featuring local vendors and fostering community bonds. We propose that this market operates every Saturday or Sunday morning from May to October, complete with proper signage. This initiative would support local businesses and enrich our community. To enhance aesthetics, we propose replacing the light blue streetlights around the lake with carriage lights in black or dark green. We also advocate for new buildings to reflect a craftsman style, improving the township's charm. Additionally, we want to see improvements in existing businesses, both interior and exterior, such as establishments like CVS. We fully support the Seroptimists and their mission to improve the lives of women and girls. The Peace Garden, located at the end of South Lakeshore Drive, includes a sign with contact information for women seeking help in domestic violence situations. Unfortunately, this area has faced challenges with vandalism due to poor lighting. We request that a light be installed on a nearby telephone pole to enhance safety and awareness of this vital resource. We also seek resolution for the non-functioning light poles in the BMIA parking lot, as they are crucial for the safety of our members and attending events. Regarding road safety, we support the consideration of speed bumps on Weymouth Road near the Bel Air Mobile Home Park and advocate for increased police presence to enforce speeding laws. These measures are essential for ensuring the safety of children and residents in the area. In terms of public relations, we propose establishing a new committee dedicated to tackling public relations efforts. We commend the efforts of the Facebook group Pemberton Township, A New Beginning, as a positive step towards improving our township. We would like to see collaboration between the town council, the mayor, and the citizens involved in this group to enhance our community's reputation. By changing perceptions, we aim to attract new businesses and events in our area. Preserving history, we must save Sycamore Hall. We urge the town council to take immediate action to enforce the existing agreement with the current owners of the property. Every moment that this building remains vacant is a moment closer to losing a piece of our history. The BMIA is in favor of exploring the addition of a roof over the basketball court at Mirror Lake, as it would promote outdoor activities for our youth and offer a healthy alternative to screen time. Before concluding, I invite you all to our upcoming events. On January 25th at 5 o'clock, please join our Passport to Worldly Cuisine community dinner. Bring a dish representing your heritage. BMIA provides beverages and desserts. On February 7th at 7 p.m., enjoy a free screening of The Princess Bride. Arrive early for seating. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Everyone is invited. BMIA members will receive complimentary refreshments. BMIA memberships offer community engagement for only $15 per family per year. Join at Fun Friday events, membership meetings, or by mailing us a check to P.O. Box 284, New Lisbon, New Jersey, 08064. Finally, we ask the members of Town Council and the Mayor to attend as many events as possible to show support for the town and the organizations within it. Your presence fosters a sense of community, and residents truly appreciate seeing you out and about. In closing, the Browns Mills Improvement Association is committed to working alongside the governing body to make Pemberton Township a home for all residents, a community that we can all be proud of. Together, let's tackle these aspirations in 2025 and beyond. And thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Ms. Mayor, can I really the dollars now?
Yes.
I just question for, because I got this on my desk today, and
Okay.
I appreciated it.
Sure.
One of the things I can tell you that I've been looking at so far was your number 7 in regards to the Public Relations Committee.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but in 1980, there was a Human Relations Commission established by the township, Ordinance 13, 1980. I'm hoping with the help of council and the administration this year, we might see some movement on that.
I would love that, and we would definitely help in any way we could with that.
Perfect.
And I'm sure that Facebook, Debbie Skipper and all, and Marie Reynolds, who run that Facebook group, they would do that as well. We're all on the same team here.
Perfect. I don't think there's any kind of like amendments or anything to it. There might be some minor ones, but I'll work with administration and then I'll get in touch with you later on once I get
All
that
right, great.
figured out, okay?
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Debbie Skipper, Pine Terrace. That was wonderful what Marty just said. I hope that you do all sit back and look at all the wonderful things that she brought up. Because as we've said on our new page, we have everyone that's joined that page has said they're willing to help and make a difference in this town. And that means volunteering and getting out. You can see how many more people are showing up now to the meetings. Let's tap into that. Let's get them and get more people involved. Because again, as we said when we started this page and this group, we need to expect more of the town. Unfortunately, we've always been the stepchildren of the county. This town has such great potential, and that's how you five got on, is because the residents of Pemberton Township want to see a difference. And I do hope going forward that we start vetting the businesses that are coming into town. And that means from the warehouse guy who's in jail, or who is not in jail now, he's out on bond, I believe, or they're setting his bail soon, to other businesses that were sold, that they have fraud, and a bunch of other charges, from human trafficking in the masseuse parlors. I mean, you see there's 4 of them in town here. We really need to start cleaning up businesses in the town also, and cleaning up what we have, and again, demanding more. So I really appreciate what Marty said also. Let's hope we can all work together in the next couple of years. Thank you very much also, and I didn't get a chance to tell you all also congratulations.
Guthrie, 317 Birmingham Road. Hello, everybody. I had a couple things I wanted to bring up at today's meeting. One is, they post the agenda on the website, and it talks about all the resolutions and some details having to do with, authorizing contracts and, accepting contracts and applications, but there's really no details to it. Like, we have no clue what it is that is being voted on here for the resolutions. Like, commit to round 4, present and prospective need afford housing obligation in accordance to PI 2024 C2. This is like reading Greek. I was wondering, since the council, we were talking during the election and how we all wanted transparency to let the residents know what was happening in our community. Since the agenda here is so vague, is it possible that with that agenda, we get the same email that the council receives to let us know what each one of these things mean? I mean, would that be difficult?
You finish first, I'll let explain.
Okay, so that was my first question. The second one is, the vetting of businesses before contracting into our township. In reality, there hasn't been any vetting for the businesses when they come in, or we wouldn't be in this dirty soup pool here that we're in right now. One of the things during last year I had addressed to the previous solicitor was, why are we allowing all these criminals into our town? And his response, and it is on record, was, we want to invite the criminals in. That never made sense to me. I do not think we want criminals. I don't think anyone in the township wants to be hiring these criminals to come in and building, like, big buildings that people don't want. And, some of the businesses that we have that, we're hearing all kinds of horrible stuff in the paper about some of our smaller businesses. It's kind of scary. And if we are just bringing in bad business instead of good business, it's gonna keep the good people out of our town, and we wanna start bringing more good people in. So that is something else I'm requesting, that these contractors are vetted before they're even considered. Number 3, there was an article in the paper, Courier Post, about the BCC. Demolition is beginning on that. I understand there's gonna be a county meeting on that coming up, I believe on the 22nd. I believe that, Pemberton Township should have some say in what goes on there, and they really don't even mention us as far as what is gonna be proposed there or what's gonna be done. So I would like to know if, Pemberton's gonna have some say of what we're gonna have in our community. And last but not least, doing some research and stuff, and the water issue for Greenberg's has come up several times, where it's gonna cost a minimal of like $10 million. I honestly believe, and I believe all the residents of Pemberton feel the same way, that the contractor should pay for all expenses for utilities to support the proposed projects. As residents, I do not think that we should have to pay a dime for something that the township is approving to have built in our community. I don't think it should cost the residents. These are billionaires coming in, let them foot the bill. And I'm quite positive, I speak for all the residents, we don't wanna see our taxes go up, and, here we're budgeting and the price of things going up. I don't think we should have to pay the bill for any of this construction going on. So those are my 4 issues, and I'm hoping you guys can let me know that we can do some of these things.
Let me try to explain to you thank you. Let me try to explain to you the resolution about the affordable housing. That was the first point. The Department of Community Affairs, state agency which handles affordable housing issues throughout the state, has come out now with what they say is round 4 of the Mount Laurel affordable housing requirement. So they have said for every town in the state, what they think, TCA thinks, should be the obligation of each town. Our obligation was, I think it was like 90 or something like that.
I think they stated it was
97.
supposed to be between 79 and 84
okay, I don't know.
that we're gonna be required to build.
Okay, well, not quite. What they said was that we have an obligation to zone for them. We don't have to build. We have to provide an opportunity, from a zoning standpoint, to provide for 79 units. But the ordinance, excuse me, the resolution we adopted, every town in the state has to adopt that resolution, which effectively says, we understand that DCA has told Pemberton you gotta gotta zone for 79 units. But we reserve, the resolution says this, we reserve the right to show you why it should be less than 79 units. And we're gonna be developing our professional planner has to prepare a round 4 Mount Laurel plan. We think that at most, don't know for sure, we think at most we might have to zone for half of those. But we have to have a plan. The state is really, really put the hammer
See,
down
my
here. We have to
concern,
have a
and I
plan.
apologize for interrupting, I just used that as an example. I feel that those specifics that are being voted on, and that was just one example of one of the resolutions that's being voted on, should be put on the website, because you could explain that to me right now, but I'm saying that all the residents should be able to see the details of the resolutions on the website to see what you guys are voting for. That way, if there's any questions or research that we need to do to come to the council and ask questions, we know what it's about. We don't have to find out after the fact and after the vote has already gone through. So that's what I'm hoping that can be done. So is that possible?
You're asking me, I don't do that.
Whoever posts the stuff for the agenda, can they put the details, like in the same email that you received for
I don't know if
review?
we want to, I don't know if we want to, I don't know who's gonna be doing paragraphs explaining each resolution before they're adopted. I think we might get into trouble because it's not quite what it should say. So I think we're what?
I think another problem there, Jerry, is everything that is on the agenda is proposed, and it can be changed or edited all the way up to the time they voted into, so that was another issue, I think, at one time.
Well, but I'm sure that,
I mean, can it be put on the website as, this is the proposed, resolutions, and this is the information governing it? Because honestly, how do the residents come up and argue any of these resolutions when we don't even know the details of them? Or like, maybe we don't have to argue them at all because we agree with what's being
I
done.
was gonna say, sometimes I'm hoping some people will agree with
Yeah,
me.
I mean, I'd like to think that at least 90% of the stuff is agreed upon, but there, without being transparent and letting the residents know what these resolutions are all about, it kinda, we don't hear about it until we're sitting here in the chairs.
But I've been coming to, I've been coming to these meetings
Yep,
for years,
forever.
decades. And this has come up numerous times, and there was always an explanation of why they couldn't put it out to the audience with the agenda that's sitting on the corner, or why they can't put it online. And the one that I remember the most is, these can be changed. So because they're not laws yet or enacted, they can't put it out there like that. That's the one thing I remember, but there was a couple other reasons why they couldn't. And the other thing I'm gonna say is, I can't do it. As I've been reminded many, many times, this is a council meeting, not a mayor's meeting.
Well, it's kinda nice to know,
Mrs. Guthrie, can I answer for you as well? Learning as I have over the past 2 years, what I could say is, council, especially myself, has taken it upon myself to start doing working days in the municipal building every Wednesday. That's what one of my commitments was for this year when I became council president. If anybody has a question in regards to and wants to be transparent, you're more than welcome to call me starting at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. And I'll be more than happy to go over any details I can
I was just trying to see the right thing for you, Judge.
No, I know.
I know we all wanted transparency,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we shouldn't have to call you, there should
Well,
be
there's, you know,
something.
and I don't wanna get the meeting too far off the rails, Pat, but, you know, like Jerry said, you know, I think he said, this week alone, we had several adjustments, from the time the agenda came out, to where we got to tonight. So there is a lot of shifting and moving of information, which I'm sure is also why, you know, and we can't divulge, and Jerry can back, you know, contractual obligations and that sort of thing, you know, to the public. It's not that we wanna hold back on that, it's just that it's not 100% yet. It's not signed off, you know, we don't wanna put anybody in danger, you know, legally, right? So,
Can I get answers to the other three questions, the vetting of the businesses?
I'll take the vetting of the businesses. You know, I've been trying, as I'm sure a lot of people in the room are aware for the past, you know, several months, to help in that aspect, especially with driving as hard as I am with the Economic and Development Committee. You know, we hit some roadblocks again this week with administration, but I think I'm gonna go back to the drawing board with the solicitor and try to maneuver those roadblocks the best we can, and potentially get the thing up and running as fast as we can is my goal and council's goal.
And as soon as something comes out as far as BCC, is the public gonna be made aware of what's,
What date was that meeting? that
I
you said?
believe it's the 22nd.
Next Wednesday night.
Can I speak on that, Mr.
Sure, go ahead.
Chairman? When they made different proposals, what they were gonna do with that property. And I plan on being at the meeting next week, to remind the commissioners what they promised they were gonna do and how much money they actually borrowed to do it with. So, and you feel free to call me 5 minutes after the meeting, I'll let you know everything I can.
I should see you there, Mr. Councilman Harper.
Thank you.
And then last but
Ms.
not
Guthrie, I
least
can,
was,
the Greenberg water issue,
okay,
okay. This development is under what's called a redevelopment agreement, okay? If you look at the bottom of the redevelopment agreement, when it was created, neither anybody, no one in the current administration, nor any of the 5 you see sitting before you now have a signature on that page. This is one of those unfortunate things where we were all brought in to include Jack and Danny, Josh, and Jack a couple years ago, and this was already in the works. So this is something that we have a very capable man sitting here to my right who is dealing with it as we speak, the best we can.
okay, that would be very much appreciated. I know there's a lot that you guys are kinda having to clean up behind.
Just so you know, the council and the mayor instructed me to advise the developer that notwithstanding what the original agreement said, and the original agreement said we were gonna do and pay for everything, we ain't gonna pay for it, and we ain't gonna do it. And we're discussing those matters now with K-Hop, and that's one of the things we just talked about inside. And K-Hop will be paying a fair amount of that stuff for those water improvements, not us.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for all the answers. Hello, Mr. Bianchi.
Hello there, Charles DeCharleroy. Just wanted to welcome all of our new council members, first of all.
Could you speak into the mic, please?
Wanted to welcome. How's that? Is that better? Wanted to welcome all of our new council members, first of all. And I know that, after the previous administration's finally been cleared out, you're going to have quite a number of messes to clean up. We've all been debating them for years and years amongst ourselves, and finally, we had the opportunity to legally do something about it. One of the biggest problems I see that we're going to be having is going to be the and marijuana stores going in. And I know people always say, oh, they'll be fine, there'll be security and all, but we know the reality in a lot of places that are already high crime. When these stores go in, the crime goes up around these places. Is they attract criminals. And that's borne out nationwide statistically. So I don't know exactly what we can do because we're kind of hamstrung from the previous administration's dirty deals. But maybe there's something that was missed that might give us a little edge. I don't know what there is, but I know a lot of times in the contracts, there's something that got screwed up, some little hidden thing that you can find. So hopefully our new solicitor will be able to find something like that. That's it.
Rich Wright, Clemson Road, Cherry, New Jersey. Just wanted to update you on a couple things, just because I guess everyone was advised not to talk to me. As the business administrator, regardless of what my status is now, I did a couple things that I need to make you aware of. Number one is I hired for less than $3,000 a conflict attorney because I felt that the current administration's conflict needed to be addressed. She will reach out to you tomorrow. She was unavailable. She's out of state today. I also did a 30-day report, as I promised Mayor I would do, and I've been working on that. And my personal lawyer will contact our solicitor regarding that and my current status. I've been advised not to say anything, so I will not say anything publicly. But I will tell you this: I'm still legally the business administrator. You guys can work that out. And I have also reached out to the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. They contacted me this afternoon, which is why I wasn't here sooner. And we'll talk about that later. I just want to say Happy New Year and have a good night. Thank you. Mayor, you have a good day.
Mark Thomas, 35 North Woods Road in the Lisbon section of Pemberton Township. I just wanted to give you a small autobiography, just to get, so you know who I am. I know you've heard me a lot, but in terms of who I am, I was born in West Rock Hill, Bucks County, which is on the county line between Montgomery and Bucks County in Pennsylvania. I went to Souderton High School, and I did my undergraduate medical school at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and then I came here to the Memorial Hospital, Burlington County, to do my residency in family medicine, which I accomplished in 1992. In 1991, the land trust that I created in 1989 received its 501c3 status, which is the Rancocas Conservancy, which has preserved a total of about 2,200 acres in the watershed, almost entirely through volunteer effort, of roughly 350 acres of which is in Pemberton Township, largely along the Pemberton bypass. There's one in Pemberton Borough, but the ones in the township are superior because they protect an area that combines where the Pinelands integrate with the intercoastal plain, and there's almost nowhere else in New Jersey where that corridor is still preserved. And so that is a statewide treasure. But the other part about that is that part of that, what is called an ecotone, is in the college campus. So along that corridor there is a rich intermixture of Delaware Valley and Pinelands habitats of great merit. So all that is to say is that when I came here, my life was changed forever. And this is where the rest of my life apparently is going to play out, for better or for worse, for everybody, I guess. But I also heard about the college issue and the fact that the county is buying the college. I'm a little bit uncertain about the details of the restrictions that may be brought to bear on the property, because apparently there was a mitigation of Green Acres restrictions on it, on the piece in Mount Laurel. So whatever that means, my suspicion is that this means that a large portion of that parcel will be deed restricted and will be under Green Acres conservation easement. So with that, I would say that the history of the last 14 to 16 years of municipal activities here, up until about 2022, were largely in the interest, and understandably in the interest of raising the tax base of the township. And there are various aspects, various ways to do that, and some very traditional ways, which have been debunked to some degree, is to jack up your housing and, to try and get taxables that way. But I think that now you saw that what had been put in place over the last 14 to 16 years was not done properly, and the vetting through the public process was inadequate. And that's why when these things started coming to fruition, that, there was all of this outcry. What I would say is that the county college is the first project from here, and we might call it ground zero, hopefully, where the township solicits actively and make sure that the community is solidly behind what happens there. And I would be committed to supporting a community group that is dedicated to this process around the college. And this could, in fact, provide a pilot for how do you do this in the township? How do you go forward from here so that you build your foundation of support for what happens there with citizen input from the ground, from ground zero, and proceeds. Thank you.
You're good.
Oh, you good? Okay. Thank you. Good evening, my name is Michelle Foreman. So what I'm getting so far tonight, the BA came up here and spoke, so what does this mean, another lawsuit against the mayor? Anybody know? Sounds like it's a potential, another lawsuit against our mayor, or the mayor. Oh, okay. As far as the Greenberg and the water situation there, would have been able to stop in a track if at the planning board meeting, Mr. Brown voted no instead of yes. He put it over the edge where they went, if he would have said no, it could have put this to a halt, as far as I understand. But if I'm wrong, somebody can tell me. So I didn't appreciate Mr. Brown's vote that evening. Although I wasn't here, I heard about it the next day. Another thing I want to say in this topic is that I hope tonight, by the end of the meeting, we're not all sitting here freezing, because I was in a meeting one night, and even young Josh Ward was freezing up there. And the solicitor, the young solicitor, not Mr. Bear, but his helper, that's not you, is it? Okay, he said he was freezing, so, you know. Are any of you cold now already? I mean, I have my coat, I didn't put it on yet, so I'm not too cold yet, but I hope by the end of the meeting, I'm not freezing. Cold and flu season, okay? Not good. All right, so what I want to talk about tonight is, we don't have a business administrator as far as I know. I don't know how to get in touch with that man, if he still is or not, I don't even know. Sometimes you run into problems here. I come in here taxes, to pay my taxes with my son with autism. I'm just saying this because I have thick skin and I can take a lot, but I don't want my son with autism having to be subjected to some of this treatment some of these people in his tax office were giving me. I'll just give you one example. The supervisor over there said to me, I called, I won't say her name because supposedly you're not supposed to drop names. I said, so, is Lori there? Because I wanna talk to Lori, cause she's polite and respectful. She said, no, she's not. When I got down there, a few minutes later, Lori was standing right there. I said, she just told me Lori wasn't here. So the supervisor said, I'm sorry, she was lying to you. I didn't say it, she said it. I didn't accuse her of lying to me about it, but she told me Lori wasn't there and she was. Supervisor, this is one thing, I'm gonna stop right there. But I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. I can take disrespect, I have thick skin, I promise you I do. If you know what I've been through in the last 63 years, you would say, Michelle, you're tough too. My husband never compliments, but he told me when I went through cancer, he said, you're the toughest woman I ever knew. But don't mess with me when I'm with my son with autism. That's just not right. Next thing I wanna say is Rosemary Flannery, Michelle Brown said she'd call me yesterday or today. She's too busy to talk to me. I have some problems with the issues with the RTA program or whatever that program is. It's supposed to be fixing my roof. What the last guy did was unbelievable, gross negligence. I'm trying to get these things done in my house if I can. The people at the RTA program or whatever it is, if I don't say the exact words, that's fine. I don't have to be whatever. Because today, when I called the office over there, one of the girls there in the Department of Community Development started laughing at me because I said, that's no way to treat your constituents. Constituents, what are you talking about? We don't vote for you, ha 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 ha, in front of everybody. But anyway, when Mayor Patriarca was mayor for 16 years, I would come to these meetings over and over and said, you have the most respectful staff. I didn't care if I agree or disagree, they would treat me respectful, and so would he. He never hung up on me. He never said, I'm embarrassed to talk to you. But anyway, I've got some issues to deal with. I'm not gonna sit here getting a lawyer again. I'm tired of hiring lawyers because the dogs are chasing my kids. I gotta get a lawyer because the animal control's not giving tickets. Nobody's doing anything, so I take all my money and my husband's money, pay money for a lawyer. I wanna get this RCA program situated right. Today, she refused to talk to me on the phone. If she's too busy for me, because they're too busy for me, after all this development they're trying to push on us. Okay, so she's too busy for me. So who can I talk to when I can't talk to the mayor, because he hangs up on me. For a minor infraction, if it was a minor infraction, minute, maybe, then, oh, is he the new timer? Because he didn't time anybody else tonight but me. I'm asking a question, is he the new timer? I expect an answer. I just want to know if he's the new timer, because he didn't time anybody else tonight.
Amy's my timer. And
Well,
her
why
timer-
is he timing? If it's not his job, you shouldn't be letting him time.
Michelle,
only me?
I'm not gonna discredit you, but.
Thank you,
we
because
all-
I'm tired of being
you-
invalidated. He hangs up on me, and then he says, I can't talk to you, because I don't want to be seen talking to you. So let me ask you something. If there's a problem with this RCA program, and they're too busy to speak to me about it, I need to have things done right this time. Who do I talk to? Can somebody up here answer me?
I'm gonna give you my phone number in just a minute, and you can call me. I'll try to find out what you want.
Thank you.
But you're gonna have to start from the top, because I'm not real sure.
Well, Rosemary said,
We'll
suppose,
take it slow and we'll speak stories. Okay, let me give you my.
I would really appreciate that.
Okay.
Because I know when Mayor Patriarca was here, regardless of whether people agree with what he did or not, I could always call him and talk to him.
Well, I don't want you always talking to me, because I like kids.
Well, tell her it's just an old lady, don't worry about it.
Mr. President, may I?
She won't care.
We'll get all good stuff.
Josh, may I say
Yeah,
something?
yeah, sure.
Michelle, I'll be your intermediary on the council with Mr. Basson, so I'll work with you and Jerry.
Okay, thank you
I
so
don't know
much.
what the issue is, but we'll talk, right?
Okay, Rosemary said to talk to you.
In depth.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hey, Michelle, one more comment, just say, you're right, no resident or business person that comes into this building should be disrespected under any circumstances, and everybody should be getting back to in a reasonable amount of time. I know sometimes these departments are very busy, but you know, you are correct. Everybody deserves respect and courtesy, and there's no doubt about it.
Are you Michelle Foreman?
Yes,
Yeah. But just do me a favor, come up and give me your phone number, and I'll call you in the morning, because I do have some stuff on.
okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for validating me, because if I wanna be invalidated, all I have to do is come into this meeting, this township building. I'll be invalidated real fast.
Is it okay? Here.
Is it okay if I put it on the desk? Can I, I can put it on the, oh.
So you have to go to get your phone number?
Yeah. Will we leave this here?
Council, I'm glad that we were able to help this form. Number one, I read the paper. Please investigate anything that was in the paper. Just to make sure that everything that's in the paper is validated with what has been said and alleged. You know, it's always good to just make sure that everything's checked out and kosher. And also, I record the meetings and I put them up on YouTube, and I don't make a single penny off of it. I do it for you guys and everyone behind me, because some people are just not able to make the meeting. So it's pretty simple. And I know you don't want me to have the camera over there, to record. Not to record the meeting, but when you have your side conversations. But if you want to have conversations that are private, you have to, step to the side. There's no expectation of privacy in public. So I'm just gonna let you know that. All right, thank you. You want your pen back, or just?
When you're done, I was gonna ask you politely, go ahead and finish.
And that's it. There's no pen up here too, so.
Oh, because I took it.
Mr. Chairman,
Always the doctor.
Alex, you don't
You
want-
wouldn't want to see the signature.
Can I just ask what newspaper article you're referring to
The Pine Barrens Tribune article of last week, Friday.
in reference to?
The allegations that are made against the mayor, the missing funds from the Edwards Way, and there were a couple other things in there as well.
Okay.
Security concerns, like letting an ex-employee into the building, if they wanna come to the building, they should use the front door, not the back door.
I just wanted to make sure what you were referencing, because we do get in the paper a lot.
Yeah. And, look forward to the next email next week.
Thanks.
Good evening, everybody in general. I want to congratulate the new council and everybody in general. Wish it the best year we can start in our town. I'm going to speak in the first. I had a chance to travel today on 530 East and Route 7 East. I need to know if that job has been completed. When I finish, you can answer me why I asked that question. Because what they did there, or whoever designed that part of that side there, and instead of put the traffic lights, is a death trap. Simple as that. There is no left turn whatsoever there. They didn't accomplish anything. The only thing they did was the stop sign, the people being fly through the stop signs and everything. Eventually, you didn't do a favor to the residents in this town. And number two, I want to know if if our township paid the 25% for the study when they were doing the roads. And what engineer they used. To me, the person they should use it was a person knows this town and supervise the roads. Because it's not only been one or two accidents, been plenty accidents there. I'm tired of see crosses on the highway. If we been put a cross in every single death, been in there, been plenty crosses already. But the human life is worse, more, than the pennies they wanna put it in there. I will contact the commissioner and I will be in those meetings. I leave it away, not one. I also noticed today, just walking my neighborhood, they can update me later on, 402 Virginia Drive, what is the status? Nothing has been changed, the same thing is there. I also travel most every day to Spring Lake Boulevard. I've been asked, it's like a song I hear in every single meeting. Please, put no litter sign, not only in Spring Lake Boulevard, but every place in Pemberton Township. Why do we see mattress? Why do we see tires? We see more garbage now, you know why? There ain't no sign say you can dump anything. The way I look at it, you can dump a mattress in that section. You can take on a mattress in there to the dumpster, or put it outside in front of your house. Well, they don't do that. It's sad. And this is how the fires start. You remember what we have right now in California? I used to live in California, and very sad what is going on right now there. We don't want to be one of them. We have a house today, we do not know tomorrow. And we live in the forest, and we have to protect it, not to become a desert. Okay, in reference to the Burlington County College, I still call it Burlington County College, I always remember that big sign in there. I just hope that they give us the piece of cement and we can have it as a historical place. Been in there since 1971. I was not living in here at the time, but according to that, it's 71. I don't know. I was not here. I came in here in 1979. I see the big thing in there. Well, anyway, I leave it away. I want to know, I will be attending the meetings. I want to know what is coming in there. What do we need in here right now in our township, and see it, all the veterans live in our town, and they have to go to North Jersey, they have to go to Cherry Hill, they have to go to Philadelphia. We have a base in our footsteps there. Why we don't have a building special for these people? They don't have to travel far away because they're not younger anymore. Wheelchairs, walkers, etc. The least we can help them. This is Pemberton Township, and we should work together. It is true now, they got it. They said they got a piece of the land. We do not know what is going and coming in there, but I will go and be sure that I'm going out the commissioners, if that's going to be a green acre. Because if that's a green acre, they cannot touch it. They cannot do nothing, sell it for, put the houses or anything in there. Okay, well, and then I'm going to speak, the last thing I'm going to bring it up, in reference to the developers. To me, when I was buying my house, I gotta pay the load, okay? Developer wanna come in here and say, this is the piece of land I wanted, you go and pay for the water. We don't even have water for ourselves. We should not be responsible for paying for nothing. They wanna come in here and pay millions, guess what? Let them spend their millions and they can bring it to us. Thank you. I want an answer for some of those questions, please.
Ms. Phillips, in regards to the first question you asked was Route 70 East and 530 East, the stop sign. Was there a new stop sign that was put there by the county that the administration knows of? Something,
It's
so the whole intersection was finally redone?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's is completed?
if that's.
I don't know if they're complete with them. I believe they're almost completely finished, but there might be some
Right,
cleanup
that's,
and touch up after.
excuse me my language, but that's sad. That people here should be fired, and I will attend the commission meeting and I will tell them off too, because I'm a taxpayer and my tax money goes to them.
Ms. Phillips, you heard me talk about that last night.
Yes, I know, I hear you, and I told you something too, right? I be going there, don't worry.
What about Ms. Phillips's question on 402 Virginia Drive, Mr. Mayor? She said something, was that the old,
I think that's the old lake school.
like, sorry, have we heard it? It's been now a year and a half we've been discussing that. Is there any movement on that, or?
No, they're not ordered.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question, I am Savannah, 613 Sandy Drive, I have a couple of things to say. One question, I've spoken to you many times about transparency, I wanna know where we're at on that. Are we gonna start using the equipment that's already installed and start broadcasting? Okay, you don't have to answer that this, cause I wanna keep going with what I wanna say. Okay, on January 1st, 2023, Ward, Dewey, and Tompkins got sworn into office. It's my understanding that when they got sworn into office, that they vowed to uphold the policies and situations of the township. Okay? And to govern it according to the way that the rules are within our township. Okay? There is, I have personally fought to have the mayor recalled because of the, investigative report that came out that says, let me find it here really quick. In conclusion, in summary as described more fully above, we find that the township has adopted appropriate employment-related policies and procedures necessary to prevent, investigate, mitigate, or remediate any employment discrimination, harassment, retaliation, or unlawful conduct in the workplace. Notwithstanding, since taking office in January 2023, the mayor has consistently engaged in a course of workplace conduct that violates the township's anti-harassment, anti-discrimination, and anti-retaliation policies without any recourse. The mayor's actions, including his retaliatory conduct and threats of retaliation against employees who make or corroborate good faith complaints against him. Okay. You guys have already found in this investigative report that you guys, not the three of you, the new ones, but, okay, I'm bringing this to your attention because you're new again, okay? Even though you all know this. You guys have been told that he's not following the policies of our township, that he's going against them. Okay, I've been told that, you can't get rid of him because of the Faulkner Act, okay? So I did the recall. I got 2,500, signatures. I did. Nobody else, because people would say they help and then they back out. I put signs out, and certain people knew who was stealing the signs. And even though I reported it to the police department on 3 occasions, it was never investigated until I finally went a step further and called, I think it was the investigation person myself. Okay? And he can't do anything about it because the person that, I actually saw video of the person who did it, because there was a house there, but they backed out of supporting it. Okay? So I know that somebody was stealing these signs. Okay, so people didn't know about it. When I went to these people and I asked them if they would sign it, they will lie. I'd bring up the investigative report, I would tell them why. We didn't know this was going on. You guys act as if the people in this township know what's going on. They don't know. There's a newspaper, yes, but it doesn't get transferred to every house. It gets put at the Acme, it gets put at the senior center and the different buildings. It doesn't mean that they pick it up and read it. So they don't know. That's why I'm fighting for transparency so badly. We as people in this township want to know what in the heck is going on, okay? I was told I fell short of the 4,500 needed signatures because I was in a time crunch. I didn't get my full 3 months of doing it because I was in a time crunch because of the election coming up and it had to be done by a certain date. Okay, I personally can't do it for another 6 months. That doesn't mean by the time my 6 months is up, I can't come back out here and try to get this man recalled again. Okay? And it doesn't stop anybody in this township from asking for help and getting it done. Okay? Now, I've also been told on several occasions, oh, Vicki, you know, we got this, we got that. Today, I sent emails to Dewey, Harper, and Ward. I don't have your 2 email addresses, I apologize. I feel town council, you need this info and carefully and hopefully act on it. From my understanding, if you don't act, that the people of this community can actually sue the town council. Now, in Pennsylvania Common Law Court decision, Pisano versus Tawamencini Township recently addressed whether a township can incur contractual liability stemming from the actions of municipal supervisors. Consequently, even though an agent of a municipality, such as a township supervisor, may not be personally liable for his or her actions, the municipality itself may still be held liable if its agent breaches an obligation of the municipality. When a municipality is bound to a contract, it will be held vicariously liable for the actions by its agents, servants, and employees which amount to a breach of its contractual obligations. Individuals authorized to act on behalf of the municipality, such as a supervisor, mayor, council member, or a manager, will be considered agents if their actions are within the scope of their authority. From this report, this is the reason you can remove him. His actions are to be considered a moral failure. Causation of termination and censure. Since taking office in January 2023, the mayor has consistently engaged in a course of workplace conduct that violates the township harassment, anti-discrimination, and anti-retaliation policies. Although he is elected, he is still violated a part of his contract to uphold the laws and ordinances.
I gotta cut you off right there because we had 5 minutes.
That's okay,
I'm not trying to stop you from your discussion because you're very passionate about what you're discussing. I did see an email come across from you today in my email box. I'll take a look at it tonight before I go to bed. Because I'm assuming, just by you reading that, I'm assuming that's in the email that you sent, correct?
Yes, it is in the email.
Okay. And I agree with you with the transparency. I wasn't happy with some of the work that was in the Pine Barrens Tribune either this week or around. So I think we'll have more comments on that during council comment for this evening. But
Okay, well, I really hope that, you know, you guys put this township first and not the party, but the township, the people. Okay, I voted for each one of you, including the mayor. Okay? Some things I mistaked, but you guys, you've got to be responsible to this township. They are trusting you.
thank you. Yes, Mr. Harper.
I guess would be safe to say we should send this on to the solicitor so he can look at it and get back to us about what she's discovered.
I don't want to get into it too deep right now, but we'll talk about it at the end of council comment.
Okay.
I think it'll be better, more privy at the time, so.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tracy Riccadelli, 21A Center Street. I just got 2 things. One, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but that light at Birmingham and 5th Street is very, very dangerous. The light is not timed properly, so as I almost got killed coming here tonight. I don't know if you noticed, when the light goes green on our side, the timing between it going red to green, it people are just flying. They're, oh, I'm gonna make the light, and the next thing you know, it's red or green, and if I would've hit the gas, I wouldn't be here. So I don't know who we talk to and how we can get that changed. Have you ever noticed it, Mr. Doyle?
Tracy, go ahead and finish it, and I'll address it
Okay.
with you as well, ma'am.
And I know that all of the, the smoke's cleared, and we're very happy what's going on here. My question just is, there are a lot of us don't want the warehouses, and I know there's some things that we're not gonna be able to do, but have you guys noticed, I know you only been there for 2 weeks. Not that you guys have been able to do too much, but have we come up with it, I mean, are we still able to stop this, or have you guys found out that we're just out of luck and we have to just deal with it? That's all I got.
I did notice, I came home from work earlier this week, I think it was, and I did, the trucks, the county, I don't recall the name of the company offhand, the company that the county employs to run the timing on the lights and everything, they were there working on it, but I have noticed that what they do is typically on a red light, green light situation at an intersection, typically is based upon speed of the two roadways. When the light turns red, we'll call it for South Pemberton Road, there should be a hesitation, a 1, 2, or 3 second hesitation before the light turns green for Birmingham. And in retrospect, again, you're coming off a 30-mile-per-hour roadway. When you come down Birmingham, hypothetically say you're making a left onto South Pemberton to go to the borough. Based upon that speed of 30 miles an hour, the yellow light is only so long because you're anticipated to be doing 30. However, you know, in Birmingham, nobody does 30. So if they're coming over the hill at 45 to 50 miles an hour and that light turns yellow, they're expecting the light to be yellow for a long time. However, it's not, because they're only supposed to be doing 30, which tends to put more responsibility on the driver. I believe we can reach out to the county and ask them, since now more than one resident, myself, has noticed that there's a difference in the timing of the light should be red in both directions for at least a couple seconds to allow those people who are in such a hurry on South Pemberton to clear the intersection before we pull out. But I've been caught in the same situation as well.
What about the warehouse then?
They're under discussions. That's about all I can say to you now. I will tell you that the council, governing body, has given me some directions as to what we can do and what we're gonna try and do. And I think as you started, we're here for 2 weeks.
I know.
So let's just give us a little more time.
Great. Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Just to let y'all know, the new school.
Name for the record, sir,
Oh,
please.
sorry, Pete King, 247 Amherst Avenue, Pemberton. Just to let y'all know, the new school board liaison is gonna be Bob Barney this year for you guys. So if y'all have any questions, please, always willing to answer. On as far as, people are saying they wanna get kids away from the screen time and stuff like that. Just let everybody know that if, from kindergarten to 5th grade, boys and girls can both join, Scouting America in the Cub Scouts. And from 10 and a half to 18 years old, they can be in Scouting America, troops. So, in our town here, we have Troop 397G, which is an all-girl troop, and we have 145B, which is an all-boy troop. And in order to get to the troop, if you want to try to find them online, it's beascout.scouting.org, and there'll be a 2397 or 2145. The 2 just denotes the district that we're in. So we have all the scouts are now in the process of trying to get ready for the Klondike Derby at the end of February. So you may see cars running around with sleds and stuff in the back. That's just the scouts trying to get their stuff ready to go. All right.
Pete, I got a couple questions for you.
Yes.
So you're gonna be stepping away from the liaison position with the school board, huh?
Well, that's the way, yeah, but I'll still come and I'll still talk about scouts.
All right, that's always good. But for tonight, you're the school board liaison, because I got a question in regards to this.
Okay.
Because I know you always mention the school buses and the stop
Yes.
signs. And then maybe I could go a little bit in detail here, and then we can talk afterward, but I have noticed there's a Shepherd bus service, not our bus, but a Shepherd bus service off of, makes it right off of Stockton Bridge Road, comes on to College Drive. Every day seems to be a parent that gets on that bus for a lengthy amount of time when the red lights are on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'll talk to you, yeah, it kind of holds up traffic.
Short bus or a long bus?
Long bus.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I'll get with you, if you're still around, or I'll give you a call if you're not around, and, kind of discuss that, but it just doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, no, that doesn't seem right. And actually for that one, call the bus garage.
Bus garage?
Yeah, talk to the bus garage.
All right, thank you.
That's where to go to, that way you start at the lowest level. So, follow the chain. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Y'all have any questions for me or anything? No, because my troop and stuff, we're going up to the Poconos this weekend to start getting ready, so. All right. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be cool. All right, thanks.
Anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close out the public comment session of the meeting. And we'll move on to number 7 on the agenda, the regular meeting minutes of December 18th, 2024, and reorganization meeting minutes of January 1st, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Yankee?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Okay, next we're on to resolutions. If council concurs, I'm gonna forego the consent agenda for this evening, I'll go line by line, if that's the pleasure of the council. Yeah, okay. All righty. First up on the agenda is Resolution 40, 2025, various routine refunds in the amount of $1,700.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Yankee?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, resolution number 41, 2025, authorizes the tax collector to conduct an electronic tax sale for the year 2025 using realauction.com LLC. Questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I looked through that, and unless I'm missing something, is the only thing they're getting from that is $15 per certification, or do they get a percentage of the tax sale? I didn't see that listed anywhere, so I was wondering, does anybody know?
That's my understanding, they get the $50 per one.
And that's it? Okay, all right, no problem. That was my only question.
Any other council members?
I make a motion that we approve 41-2025.
I'll second.
Mr. Yankee?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, resolution number 42, 2025, consenting to the mayor's appointments to the zoning board. Council comments, questions?
I have a question if I can get to it here.
Mr. Harper?
I don't know if it's just a clerical error or what, but they're both 4-year unexpired terms, but when you look over expires, the dates don't add up. Is that just a clerical error, Jack?
No, it's not a clerical error. Those are staggered terms, so the unexpired terms, they're replacing somebody that was already in there that either left their term prior to the 4 years being up. Those are the dates, those unexpired terms.
Oh, that's the
expire.
date stage, but, okay, now I understand. All right, thank you.
motion to approve 42/2025.
I'll second that.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, resolution number 43, 2025, authorizes the extension of an award of a contract to ALS Environmental in the amount not to exceed $25,829 for laboratory testing services for the Pemberton Township Sewer Division. Questions, comments, or
I
concerns?
have a fast one. This price for the 25,000, is that for the entire year?
Yes, it's the same price as, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'll get used to it. It's the same price as last year and for the year.
Okay.
You just have so much good knowledge, I wanna make sure everybody gets it.
Any other questions? What's your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, resolution 44, 2025, authorizes the extension of an award of contract to Precision Analytical Services Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $24,130 for laboratory testing services for the Pemberton Township Water Division. Questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, I have
Same
a
answer,
question.
Mr. Dewey, it's for the full year.
Now, I have another question. These are extensions?
Yes.
And even though they're extensions, did we get other bids just to see if we got better pricing or?
Not that I know of, I don't think we did. I think the bid that you awarded a year ago allowed the town the option to renew it for the new year.
I understand
I
that
don't-
possible extension. I didn't know if they reached out for other bids just in case or.
I don't think so.
We just went with the extension. Okay.
I do have another question. And Amy, thank you for answering my questions previously on this. With this contract and the extension, is there a limit on how many extensions you can have for this contract?
Well, but, the contract which was awarded a year, yes, the contract that was awarded a year ago gives us the option, 1 year option.
One off.
So a year from now, we'd have to go out for a new bid.
Gotcha, understood. Thank you.
For these samples, are these samples that our employees pull, or they just come down, they pick them up? Or is this something where they actually come to the site, they pull the samples themselves
I
for
don't
the
know.
testing?
I don't know.
Barry, I think our people in the lab down there pull.
Okay, so basically, it's just to pull them down there, retrieve them, and then take them out for testing. Thank you, sir.
I'll make a motion, we approve 44-2025.
I'll second that.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, resolution 45, 2025, authorizes the extension of an award of contract to Main Pool and Chemical Supply Company in the amount not to exceed $40,000. I'm sorry. Oh, that's messed up. That sounds wrong. Sorry, got me confused. $40,550 for the supply and delivery of sodium hypochlorite for the Township of Pemberton Water Division.
Make a motion to approve 45/2025.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, resolution 46, 2025, authorizes an application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Recreation Improvements Program for Pole Bridge Park upgrades. Questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question.
Mr. Dewey.
On this, grant that we're applying for, I'm all in favor for it as long as the park gets put back exactly the way it was prior to being Rickett Park. There's no need for volleyball, pickleball. I think it should be put back the way it was.
It's not gonna be put back exactly the same way it was. If I remember right, they had mulch on the ground where important place, which is more safe for the kids. Some of the playground equipment that we're gonna put in there probably will be different than what was in there before.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just
saying
trying to
exactly as it was
volleyball and
before,
pickleball in there.
but saying exactly as it was before, we're not gonna be able to do that. We're hoping to improve it with this grant money.
Well, I'll approve it, but I want, consent from the council before we pull the trigger. I don't want anything crazy there other than basically what was there.
Yeah, I know we've had discussions on this, Mr. Dewey, and I can honestly say with walking around with the mayor last week, you know, we met with the CFO, and that was one of my stipulations, I believe, when she was putting in the grant application at that point in time, right, Jack?
Yeah, we all agreed on what
Yeah.
the end goal was supposed to be. As a matter of fact, the grant paperwork came to my desk today,
I saw that.
and I signed it and sent it forward.
Yeah, so, you know, I think it was specifically put in there, Mr. Dewey, just to put your mind at ease for playground equipment. I too would like to see, I understand that what the mayor's saying, it can't be exactly the same, but I think we'll get playground equipment, much needed playground equipment for the kids, so I'm in agreement.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve 46/2025.
Second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Resolution 47/2025 commits to round 4 present and prospective need affordable housing obligations in accordance with PL 2024 C2. Council questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, now if I'm understanding this, we're gonna do the paperwork, but we're gonna appeal the total number, is that what we're going forward, Jerry?
Yes, Council. As I started to say to Mrs. Guthrie before, every town has now been given a number by the DCA as to how, over the next 10 years, they have to zone for that number of affordable housing units. Our number was 79, although we, in the resolution, we retained the right to counter that number, and test that number, and show why it should be less. We have to prepare a plan showing what we think it should be by June, I think it's June 30th. That's the consent of the DCA. Every town in the state has to do that. And we feel that if we can beat Mr. Remser, who's our planner on this, we have some developments on the books and other things which show that probably about half of that number we already are taking care of. And there's other reasons, there's other exemptions in the statute which allow you to lower the number of different reasons. So, yes, we're on it. Mr. Remser has already started on it, and we feel confident there'll be a lot less than 79. And it's not that we build them, we just have to provide an opportunity for them to be constructed from a zoning standpoint.
And I know you got Mr. Remza working on this, but is it possible, because I know from going to the other planning and zoning meetings that Mr. Banish has been on this, can he be at least copied on this, if not?
Oh, I'm sure he'd be copied. I know that,
Yeah.
my understanding of it is, I think the planning board this year is considering a full master plan for the town, you have to do it every 10 years.
Right.
So these, it seems to me, should be done in conjunction, you know.
Yeah, I just want to have every department on the same page, the planning board and zoning board as well as us.
I'll mention that to Mr. Remsen, but I'm sure that was a given, that he'll keep, Mr. Banish up to date.
All right.
Jerry, if I'm correct, this paper has to be approved tonight and be in the state's hands by the 31st of January?
Yes, until a new plan is approved, every town has immunity from a developer suing us. And we only have that immunity if we adopt this resolution before January 31st, and then the clerk's office sends it to somebody in DCA, and I could just imagine what they're gonna do with 535 of these.
So I know, I mean, it's very important that we get this
You
done.
do have to, yeah,
I
strongly
we should make a note is if we could notify somebody from the state, have them come down here and just go over these figures.
Well, I'm sure that Mr. Remus is gonna have that on his
Okay.
list. I'll make sure.
Cause 79's follow along.
Yeah, no, it's,
Jerry, for clarification, you said it has to be to the state by the 31st. After we pass it tonight, I think it has to be filed with the Superior Court within 48 hours.
I don't think Superior Court, but I'll check. I think it's DCA, but I'll check to be sure.
I was advised by Mr. Remsen that it does have to be filed within 48 hours of adoption. And
Where?
So I believe DCA,
Yeah.
but I will be contacting
Yeah.
Mr. Remsen.
Mr. Rose will know. I think
This
it's
will get
DCA.
filed
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, look at that. Wherever it has to get to, it'll get there before the end of the week.
I'll make a motion to approve 27/2025, if anybody has any.
Second?
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, Resolution 48, 2025, authorizing accepting and execution of an access agreement with Surrey Equities LLC, developer of the Boebling track.
I know we had a little discussion about this in the back room. In light of what we discussed, should we table this until Jerry reaches out and discusses this with these people?
Councilman, I wouldn't recommend you do that. Surrey Equities is the contract purchaser of the Bobolink track. They want to bring in, I think it's D.R. Horton, another company to help them to develop it.
Right, yeah.
And D.R. Horton wants to do their own due diligence on the property to make sure that, soil borings and that kind of stuff. That's all this allows. And it's very non-intrusive, and I would recommend we go forward, but notwithstanding that the council has given me some instructions as to what we should do on the Bobolink contract entirely. I think that this should go forward tonight. No harm, no foul.
I just won't interfere with your negotiations with them.
Thank you.
And just to clarify for us and the public as well, all of this you're talking about with them coming in and wanting to do all their own due diligence will be on their own dime.
Oh, yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
Not the taxpayers here.
And they're providing insurance, because they're on the property, they're giving us appropriate insurance, and you're correct.
Thank you, Jim.
Based on Mr. Bass's comments, I say we approve 48, 2025.
I second that.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up, last on the resolutions, 49, 2025, authorizing the calendar year 2025 budget deadline extension dates. Questions, comments, concerns?
It's something we obviously have to do.
My question to the administration, do we know potentially what extension we're looking for here, Mr. Mayor? Or, how long we're looking at and why?
Well, I think part of it is we have to wait for the audit to come through, and we're gonna have to wait for the state numbers to come through, so, from what I understand, we're not sure when the audit will come through. And we did just change auditors too, so that might impact it.
Yeah.
Are we looking at a possibility, sir, like last year, of not having a budget till possibly July or August?
I hope not.
I can't agree more, that's why I was asking. I think it's kind of a waste that the year's halfway done, 50% of the budget's spent, but we still haven't approved it yet.
And Mr. Mayor, with, your lack of help, is it possible that council's gonna get a little more involved with helping with the budget? Or, no?
What do you mean lack of help?
Well, I know you're short on help. I don't know how far along you already are, but, meeting with different departments to put together some numbers.
We've already met with all the departments and got the very preliminary numbers. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with the CFO today, to pull some of the department heads in again. Now that we have a rough estimate of the total of what we're looking at,
Okay.
we're definitely gonna have to trim to get where we need to be, so, the CFO and I had a conversation about pulling some people in, having discussions with department heads to see where we can adjust as needed.
Okay, and when do you think council's gonna get a chance to look at the rough number? No idea.
No idea.
Okay.
Sir, does, how do I word this correctly? A non-sitting business administrator add any more time to that?
I'm sorry, say
The
what?
fact that you don't have a business administrator at this time, is that gonna impact the
I
time
mean,
of the
we're
service as well?
we're talking the budget, the administrator is always very, very helpful and hands-on on that. But another key component of that is the CFO and all the department heads. And the CFOs did it last year, they're very qualified. The department heads have been doing this for a while, they've been responsive for the most part. So, we will get through this.
I could be happy to hear that, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that empty seat there wasn't gonna cause us a problem.
But we've had discussions on that, I'd like to have somebody that's very qualified to be sitting there too.
Couldn't agree, sir, thank you.
Any other comments from council? We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 49/2025, authorizing the county year 2025 budget deadline extension dates.
I'll second.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up on the agenda, number 9.
Can I ask a point of clarification? Regarding 2625, the, local Clovers Park upgrades. Council has to vote on to approve it tonight, but the mayor stated that he already signed and sent it in.
That was for the, I understand what you're saying, but no, that was for the, he had to vote, he had to approve the grant. So here's what happens. The request for the grant, so, and I'm gonna answer your question completely, okay? I'm sorry, and I don't wanna take anybody else's time away. So, during the grant process, the CFO or whoever's in charge has to write up a grant proposal, right? Okay, so then, once that grant proposal's written up, then the mayor has to sign on the dotted line for said grant proposal, so she can send it off to
Right.
apply for the money.
But on here it says authorizes an application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Recreation Improvements Program for Full Bridge Road Upgrade. You haven't authorized it yet, but he already sent it in for the grant. That's what
Ms.
I'm trying
Adams,
to
if I,
understand.
Ms. Adams, if I could clarify something. The mayor actually misspoke, he did not send it in. I actually have the paperwork in my hand here at the desk. It will not go in, or it would not go in unless it was authorized.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. Okay. So, back to business, new business here, 9A, purchases over $3,000. 1, Township Clerk, codification of ordinances, services from general code in the amount not to exceed $6,380.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Harper?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up. Next up is new business annual renewals, B1, mobile home parks, Bel Air Estates LLC. Questions, comments, concerns?
I have a comment.
Yes, Mr. Dewey.
Mr. Harry Harper and myself took a tour of the town yesterday. And I can't honestly say that I agree 100% of what we found in the scene. Bel Air, I
didn't count them, but I bet you there's 15, 18 old homes. They have some 3 or 4 stacked over here, all through the park, and they got some pretty rough units. One of the other concerns I had, I don't know what the road is all the way in the back, but they have quite a bit of tree work that they've cut out. And they have cut up and piled in the back, which for that section would be right along the Rancoocas Creek where that woods is pretty thick, you know, and if there was a fire and it gets into all that wood, they could have a problem. The roads, I would say, were a B plus, but they need to do some cleanup in there. So, I don't know what the pleasure of council is. If their license are due, this would be the time to go out there and do something about it.
Yeah, I know we talked last time, and this came up, and we talked about, the ordinances needing to be addressed and taken a look at to potentially give us some more, pursuable actions.
Hilltop is pretty rough. We got some road problems in there. And again, there's a lot of.
Use your mic, please.
Microphone, Danny.
I'm sorry, I didn't have it on. There's a lot of old units in there. I mean, I don't understand why the township's not in there writing violations. I really don't.
They fall under a car dealership, used car dealership.
They get 2 licenses, there's a used car dealership that
That's for
allows them
selling
for the
units.
selling of the trailers, the mobile homes, and, the mobile home park. Those are annual licenses.
There are a couple notes here on the, some of the paperwork that we got that says, there are some outstanding code enforcement violations. The code enforcement is addressing, but Mr. Mayor, do we know, are they being addressed to what we would consider your satisfaction? I know you have to trust your department heads at times, but, from what they're saying about taking a ride out there and saying that they're being addressed,
I was out there this summer for various reasons, and I did drive through there. There are some homes that need some TLC because of their age and such. There was, one that I think everyone nicknamed Barney, or the dinosaur. Because the roof was ripped off and it was expired construction permit in the window, and I was there, actually took pictures and sent them off to code enforcement. So they're working on that, but there is a process. Unfortunately, a lot of times this process is very time consuming. But they are aware of a lot of stuff, and I mean, there's some people that take a lot of pride in their home in there, but then again, it's like every community, you have some good, some bad. I'm not licensed with community development, so I don't know what's appropriate and what's not. If you know what I'm trying to say.
okay. Mr. Dewey, you said there was some trailers. Were you talking about trailers that have been removed off sites that are just being stored there, not used?
Yeah, but I mean, they're pretty rough.
Right, but I'm saying that basically like they're in a staging area waiting for disposal?
I have no idea, you know, we didn't talk, I mean, we rode every street in every park. And there's quite a, and they're rough looking and there's nobody living in them. You know, I just think somebody should go out there and, take a look and break numbers down.
Councilman,
Just, you know, with the description that we got, you know,
Councilman, I saw the same thing when I was out there, but when I looked, if I remember right, they weren't hooked up to any utilities. They were more staged than anything else. I mean,
well, there was 3 or 4
That's what I'm asking about. I mean,
stages, but I'm
if-
talking, here's a trailer, there's a trailer, there's a trailer, the 2 in the middle are falling apart.
How long are we staging them before they're, shipped out? But again, it's something we need an answer for. I mean, if we're just gonna have, basically, we have ordinances for trailers in residential properties, correct? So why is it okay for them not to have a trailer sitting in their property unless it's properly cared for, but yet we're gonna allow a park like this to have their trailers that are no longer in use just sit around until they finally feel like paying the money to get rid of them.
It is private property, so I don't know if that plays into it or not.
Well, the people.
But they're also here for an application for renewal, for a license.
You know, the people don't own the
Councilman,
property.
don't wanna argue with it.
No. Well, don't take my words as though you meant it, but take them as, encouraging.
I mean, I saw the same thing when I was out there, and I talked to Cody about the same thing. I don't know what we legally can do, what we legally can't do. I mean, my question is, if you don't renew the license, does that mean that we're gonna have to close operation and move all those people out of there?
No, they gotta take care of the violations.
Okay, so then let's ask this, when is theirs due for renewal? What's the date on it? Maybe we haven't had, when is it due?
It's been due.
It's been due.
It's due at the end of every year.
I'm sorry.
I had brought this up in December when it was originally questioned. There's really no teeth in the ordinance that allows us to do anything to them. They ran for years without a mobile home park license because they didn't pay, if they don't pay their fees, they don't get a license. And for years, Mary Ann couldn't issue them a license because they didn't pay their fees. They didn't pay taxes, sewer, water. They were never up to date. But there was no teeth, and I could probably pull up old memos from Mary Ann asking something, you know,
Could you come up with an ordinance where we put an age restriction on these places? I mean, they're not quality built units.
Can't do that.
No?
HUD does that. HUD came in the picture in 1975, so our homes were built to HUD.
I didn't know.
Sorry.
But-
Yeah. Anything you'd like to know or whatever, I'd be more than happy to sit on the board of directors for the state of New Jersey. I'd be more than happy to give you any information.
Now, would we call HUD and have them go in and do an inspection?
HUD is strictly for the installation. The homes that are sitting there I'm sure don't have tie downs on them, or sitting on a monolithic pad, so. But I'd be more than happy if you need any information to.
You know, basically, we're just building new slums.
Thank you.
If I had a violation on my private property, I get a summons or a warning. Why can't they on their private property?
They're renting it around.
Well, they should be enforcing their rules and regulations which govern the community.
All right, so the question becomes, and, Mr. Doyle, I know what you're saying, and I appreciate the back and forth, but we gotta stay on topic here. I mean, if we want to, as far as council's concerned, if we want to change the ordinance, then hopefully we get with administration and potentially have a meeting with our DC, or our director of, community development, and get some guidance on changing the ordinance. But other than that, right now, we're just, their license is what we're looking at. And like, I think what the clerk is reiterating, what Mr. Dasty would reiterate, is there's nothing really one way or the other. If we say no, doesn't sound like there's anything that they're gonna stop. If we say yes, doesn't sound like there's anything that's gonna stop. You know, but it's something.
So it sounds to me, sir, like we're just saying yes just to keep them legal, keep them licensed.
I guess if you don't issue the license, then no one has the right to be there in terms of renting, but I think the gentleman, you're giving the license to the property owner, not to the individual, so that property owner owns the property, they can be fined. If the code enforcement officer can certainly cite them for whatever it takes.
One of them had where it's a place where they couldn't put any homes, and there was probably about 20 oak trees cut down recently.
Well, you could also.
But I mean, I think we got tree cops here now in town,
Well, I think to try to get to, I think what the discussion was, there is some limited, remedies. You can certainly, issue fines, the code enforcement officer, just like with a house, can issue fines and do that kind of thing. I suspect you can probably, and I'm not real sure of the ordinance, but you could approve the permit subject to X, Y, and Z happening within 90 days. So you can do those two things.
Well, if you whack the owner, it'll certainly trickle down to the.
Well, it's the owner's business.
So here's my question with that. As far as the extra trailers, or I'm sorry, manufactured homes that have been removed and haven't been disposed of yet, that's one thing. That I see 100% falls on the owner. But if we're talking about the conditions of the individual residences within there, is that gonna fall on the owner, or is that gonna fall on the tenant?
I have to believe that there's some sort of bylaws or rules and regulations for each of the individual, living units, that they have to keep it in good shape, or whatever. So it's the obligation of the park owner to make sure that its bylaws are enforced. So I think it all, like rightly or wrongly, it all comes back to the property.
And I think by saying yes, we're saying it's okay to manage their mobile home park that way. I think it's a foul to the community if we say yes to this. Even if they're no, you know, they don't enforce anything, saying yes is just giving them permission.
We can say yes and give them 2 handfuls of tickets to, I mean, it's.
You can say no and do that.
You know, I mean, just to ride through there, it's an embarrassment. I mean, it's not bad, but it certainly needs some serious tweaking in there, all of it.
If council wishes to table this again, I can send a memo to administration to, ask the community development department to, look at this further, to advise, we can advise the owner that a permit will not be issued until these are remedied. Not that that prevents them from operating and collecting their rents from their properties, but they can put on notice that they're not gonna be given, I don't know if Mr. Dasty can look into the ordinance, to see if that prevents them from renting out anything further. I don't know.
How about we
That's
have-
been the problem the entire time.
Can she also reach out to the owner and let him know this is an open public meeting? He's more than welcome to come in here. I mean, we do have owners of manufactured homes that do come to these meetings.
I can
He
reach
can
out to the
certainly be
owner
one of them as
and
well.
I can do that, if council wishes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these resolutions and ordinances haven't even been updated since 1982, so I mean, it's definitely a section of the code that needs to be.
Yeah, we could look into it, sure, the hilltop that had the issue.
I think that,
Yeah, Hilltop had the
Yeah,
worst
hilltop
roads,
had
yeah.
some pretty rough roads in there.
Just noted,
But they're
the other
they're
mobile
licensed.
homes were all approved at the last meeting in December.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Their permits were approved.
Yeah, but I'm just.
And Councilman Dewey on Hilltop, if I remember right, they've been before the zoning board for some improvements. One of them would, I think, is a gate going in and out for the residents to block people that aren't authorized to go in from going in. Maybe part of their improvements are the road improvements as well. I don't know, I just know they were before the zoning
There's some
board.
rough roads in there.
How about the possibility of tabling this for 30 days to see if 30 days, maybe it gives them a little motivation that their license could be refused.
It's only gonna work if township communicates with the people, the owners. You know, if they don't have any communication from us,
Mr. Dewey, I will communicate with you.
okay, you know, I'm just, you're trying to clean the town up and they need some help cleaning up.
I make a motion to table 1B until we can reach out to the owner and see about coming into place.
My second,
Yes,
Mr. Bianchini?
yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes, table it.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Next up on the agenda, new business B2, body art establishment for tattooing body art. Questions, comments, concerns?
I make a motion to approve license for tattooing body art.
second.
He does have a board of health.
This is attached to the. This is a different establishment, not the same establishment. Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes,
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes. Okay, next up is the approval by council for the requirement for payment of vouchers on bill list dated 1/9/2025. Questions, comments, concerns from council on the bill list?
No, I sent an email to Amy, to the mayor, and he got back with me on, but I had a question on it.
Make a motion to approve the bill list dated 1/9/2025.
I'll second it.
Mr. Bianchini?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Mr. Dewey?
Yes.
Mr. Harper?
Yes,
Mr. Ward?
Yes. Okay, next up, we have the reports. Is there a solicitor's reports?
Well, I'll just be really fast. I want to thank the council again and the mayor for appointing us for the year. I can assure you we won't embarrass you, and it's our joint goal for the entire governing body to move the town forward. And if you give us a little time, I hope that you'll see some improvements. I think you might. I've got a lot of stern instructions from the council, so I've got work to do. Just to introduce everyone, that's my son Joseph. He's an attorney with our firm. He's very smart. He writes very, very well. And as you can see, he's a good-looking young kid, which is proof that good looks and brains, they skip generations. Thank you very much. We'll be bringing more detailed reports as time goes on.
Mayor's report?
I didn't, again, do anything prepared just for this, but I did want to mention, we've been having a lot of meetings this past week or two. There's a lot of new things, a lot of new things, a lot of new people, a lot of new faces. Our professional services, a lot of them have changed. Mr. Daffy sitting between you is one of those new things. We are slowly transitioning some of the files and documents from one professional service to another. One that other than legal, one that we've encountered a lot of questions on are the engineering services. We've got a lot of projects going on in this town. We're trying to get some of the engineering files and documents transferred from our previous engineer to our new engineer, getting points of contact so that they can coordinate with our project managers and public works supervisors and stuff. So I hope you try to bear with us as we get through this. It's gonna be a little bit of a rocky road at first, but I got a feeling at the end of it, it's gonna be well worth it. Thank you, and that's all I have.
Okay. Council comments?
Yeah, I have a couple questions for the mayor.
Mr. Dewey.
I heard this through the grapevine that we're remodeling the office in the building, the old rec department office.
We're not remodeling it, we did move, Recreation did request to move. They requested to move over to the senior center. So they felt that that's what they needed, so we approved that move. The room was empty. A couple people have talked, we have storage under the police department for a lot of things that, janitorial supplies and things that we use in this building. Getting them down into the basement is a little hazardous and not the best way to do things. Getting them up also puts, individuals in a bad way possibly, and unfortunately, it's the only way we could do it at the time. There was discussions and people put on their thinking hats and they thought where our fire chief would be a perfect place to store some of this stuff and get it out of the basement and on the main floor here where it has easier access to our people that need it to replenish what needs to be replenished or clean what needs to be cleaned. So that kind of dislocated our fire chiefs. So we did move him next door. We also designated that area for our emergency management coordination efforts. If we ever have storms or other needs to activate that cell, we would have the resources there to do that. We were doing it in this conference room here where I guess it got pretty cramped. We're also looking at possibly, I believe we're looking at rejuvenating the CERT people. I saw something come across my desk today where they're gonna try to get people to get into classes and get certified or recertified to get that going. And there's a possibility that office could be used for the CERT people as well. There was lights in there where you had to go in, and it drove me crazy because I come in the weekends and see lights on in that room, and I have to go around the room figuring out what light switch turned on the lights. We did have that rewired where if you turn on one light switch, it turns on all the lights in that one room. If you wanna turn them off, you turn off that same light switch and it turns them all off. Who knows how long it's been since that room has been painted? So we did put a new layer of paint on that room and cleaned up the room, and it looks a lot nicer to say that we're redecorating or doing, whatever. I mean, when I moved into my office 2 years ago, you could tell they had just gone in and repainted the room. I think that's pretty common.
Okay, let me finish my questions. So how many offices are gonna be in that room?
There's 2 rooms. One of them's gonna be the chief, and the other one's probably gonna be the emergency management coordinator cell whenever we have to activate that.
So, I guess there's gonna be some new furniture and putting some walls up.
Not that I'm aware of.
So it's gonna be an open room with desks, or? The bottom I'm getting to, Jack, is we had passed an ordinance where you can't spend over $3,000 unless you go through the council. So, and I think last meeting, there was a $1,750 smart TV purchase. I guess was for that room. So that leaves you $1,250 without going over the $3,000 for this renovation. So that would be.
I'm sure we've done other things in this building that are worth, that are more than $1,200. I mean, you can't.
Well, I was just at the TV, that was $1,750. I looked up the TV today, and a 70-inch was about $700, but we paid $1,750 for this one. I'm just making sure that it's under the $3,000, so it doesn't have to go through the council, because we set the limit for $3,000. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I mean, did you guys create a budget for this project? You said you did electrical, does any of the air conditioning heat have to be changed?
No, not that I'm aware of.
So you're telling me that it's not gonna go over $3,000?
Couldn't tell you.
Well, but see, we should know, you should have a budget.
Maybe we have to discuss this another time somewhere else. Is that okay?
This is the time to discuss it.
Transparency.
Because if it goes over 3,000, there's gonna be some angry guys up here. I told you at the reorganization meeting, this unnecessary spending of these people's money is over with, and we're gonna hold everybody's feet to the fire. And I just hope it doesn't go over $3,000 without going through this council. That's just what's on my mind. The other thing is, I heard, that they're bidding the dump truck.
No, they're not rebidding it, they're going out for new quotes. There was some questions about aluminum and stainless steel bodies. So we reached out to the Public Works folks as you requested. We had conversations about that, and they emailed me back with their answers, and I thought I'd email the council on those answers. And then talking to Public Works, they thought, well, why don't we just go out and get a quote also for just regular steel instead of stainless steel?
Well, see, I've been expecting to have a meeting with Tom, because, you couldn't answer the questions, you said I have to talk to my experts. And I guess you sent an email out Friday that we heard that they were supposed to be here tonight, and then you called me and said they can't make it, which I don't understand. I just don't want
steel beds. As soon as we get those, we will present those to the county.
Did they fit it with a vibrator?
I'm sorry?
A bed vibrator?
Don't know.
Okay, but see, that's pretty important, because if you're gonna use it for salt and you have sleep.
Again, Councilman Dewey, I have experts in public works that know this equipment.
Well, then you better
know what
get
they're
it in
doing.
here if they want a truck. You know, when they ordered the tractor for their new lowboy, and somebody forgot to put a wet line on it, which would have been $1,500 when the truck.
Is this just a normal question, or is this turning into some kind of?
No, I'm just
inquisition?
saying where mistakes are made when they order trucks. They don't put the wet line on it, it only been
Have a good night, sir.
right, and it costs us $7,000. I'm just trying to get things right and save money for the town. That's all I'm trying to do, because I'm a pretty big taxpayer in this town. That's all I got. Other than thank you for being here tonight. Sorry, running over a little bit, but thank you very much for hanging in there with us. Good night.
Okay, it's hard to follow that. But while we're on the subject, if they're out re-quoting the bed, Jack, maybe they can look into that extended warranty that they had on the bid, because, you know, again, following Mr. Dewey, I thought we were gonna get to talk to him. The extended warranty a lot of times doesn't cover anything if we do our own maintenance and stuff, so we'd be wasting money. And it's $5,700 for the extended warranty, which half of it includes towing, which, as Mr. Dewey just brought up, we have our own lowboy, so we should be able to tow any piece of equipment we have in the town, anywhere we need to tow it to get repaired. You know, again, wasting the taxpayers' money. We need to hold to things. You know, if you tell me that the transmission warranty can be extended with our guys servicing it, I'll let that go, but $2,300 for a towing package when we are capable of towing it ourselves is ridiculous. And again, the other stuff on the warranty needs to be checked and see if it's covered if our guys service it, you know. And, you know, for those of you who said some of the things you want here in the town, all of us council people have talked at one time or another over the last couple of weeks and with Amy, and we understand. I'm not sure if the first meeting next month or no later than the second meeting, we will be on the YouTube channel here. We listened and we thought that was an easy thing. Amy worked us through it, and you know, we want to provide that service to the people that can't get out here. And we're going to keep trying to do the best we can for all the residents, business people in this town, because after all, you pay all our salaries. Thank you. And thank you all for coming out.
Okay. The only thing I think I really wanted to touch on tonight with everybody was the one thing we saw here for years and we talked about for months prior to this election was everything was 3-2. We talked about that for months, and now you're coming in here and you're seeing 5-0. Trust me when I tell you, this list that we get never starts out 5-0. I have never burned through a cell phone battery in 40 years of my life. Cell phones go back that far? When I tell you that these things are beat up and beat up between us individually with each other, with Jerry, administration, we do our best to iron out all the kinks and questions that we have, and obviously don't want to forget Amy, the kinks that we have, the questions that we have, to make sure when we come in here, we try to make this go as smooth and professional as possible, because that's what you guys deserve. You need to know where we're coming from. We absolutely hear where you're coming from. So we do our best to get the answers to the questions that we have, so that we don't extend everybody here for unnecessary time that we could handle before we get here. So when you see a 5-0 vote on things, it's not because it wasn't hashed out. It's not because some of us didn't disagree. A lot of things we agree to disagree. but somebody has to be convinced that this is in the best interest of you guys. And unfortunately, we've only been here for 2 weeks. The plate that we've been given is large. The projects that are on them are massive, and some are not wanted. But when I tell you the gentleman that we picked here to sit to my right to handle these things, in 2 weeks already has shown that he has nothing but the best interests of our decisions and you guys at hand. He does a spectacular job. His answers are thorough, his investigation, his angles, and he is working very, very hard on some of these projects, and I want to give him accolades. I would even if he wasn't sitting here. He's a very impressive man for the job that he's doing, and I think we made a good choice here. And again, we can't do the things that we do up here without the words coming from you guys, and I appreciate, I think it was 11 of you tonight. Thank you for taking the time and being here tonight.
All right, so I got a couple of things actually. First off, we do our homework before these meetings. We don't come in here blind. And Amy and the rest of the administration, to include the mayor and the department heads, are very good about getting back to answer our questions when we do ask them prior to the meetings. So I do want to give credit where credit is due. However, it would benefit everybody if the department heads could attend the meetings as requested. There's no saying no.
No. You basically said no.
I've requested the department heads to come here. There's union issues, there's other things going on. We had a meeting with the department heads a couple of days ago. They very politely requested that I excuse them from being here for many reasons, and I can discuss those in private because these are employees. And I tend to agree with them, so I had let them not come in here. And again, I'll talk to any council person who wants to talk to me about this in private.
I can understand that, and I don't agree with it, but that's okay. But I think a lot of the back and forth we have up here would be alleviated like that if they were here. It would make your job a hell of a lot easier, trust me on that one. Anyway, moving right along. I have a report for the Veterans Advisory Committee, which I'm chair of. We will be having a Memorial Day parade in the township this year. I've already received, Pete King, leave already? He did leave. So I've already received support from the Boy Scouts and the troops that he referenced tonight. I've been working with Jennifer Deeds. She gave me some additional contact information, so we're gonna have representation from the youth sports as well as all the veterans organizations as well. But there will be a parade this year in Pemberton Township for Memorial Day. And lastly, just to echo what the other, my fellow councilman said, thank you all for coming out and bearing with us through this tonight. This is only our second meeting, and the plate that we were given, as Mr. Doyle had said, I'll be a little more graphic on it. You know the little poop emoji? Are you having fun? We got a big old poop emoji on our plate, so we're trying to clean all that up. And Mr. Dansky was definitely the right choice for the solicitor, because he's done more in the past 2 weeks than I saw the previous solicitor do in the 2 years that I came to meetings on our own. So, but thank you all for being here tonight. Have a good night.
A couple of things for my fellow council members here. I'm sorry to keep you guys, but a couple of things I want to start off with. In light of the fair share housing obligation, I'd like to see what council collectively would like to do in potentially, just because it's too much for one person. But and I know some people in the room hate this when I do this, but forming a committee of 2 council members potentially to work with Mr. Remsa and try to get that, be transparent with the community and get a good idea of an education of what our commitment should be of 79 units, and then work with him towards the goal of of getting this together. Again, that's just my recommendation. I know I worked with Mark and Paul last year on a subcommittee in regards to warehousing. It was very fruitful and enlightening. So I didn't know if anybody wanted to take part and help out. Matt? Okay, Matt and Danny? All right, so we'll talk more about that. So that takes care of one of them. I already addressed the, Marty's EMIA letter, so I will get with her and give her information on the committee that's, we'll get working on that. But did everybody anybody have any comments in regards to that HRC, the Human Relations Committee that was on the books for, since 1980 in the township, and potentially getting that up and running? That is a full council appointment, because it is an ad hoc committee to the council. So we could probably share that really quick. Any questions or comments on that one, or I guess we could talk about it. All right.
If you need volunteers, I'll volunteer.
Yeah, could you? Yeah, thank you, Ian. And then the other one was, in light of, I just want to get this stuff all cleaned up, so, the gentleman that perceives himself to still be the BA, okay, and then the newspaper articles, and it seems like everybody in the community wants to know what's going on, and, Mrs. Adams, you said transparency, so, you know, our goal is to be transparent, and I just wanted to make sure, and potentially ask for the potential to form another subcommittee and go through these investigations and get to the bottom of all this. So, I don't know if anybody, yeah, Mike, go ahead.
I didn't know if you had anything to report on the litigations and the investigation with Boyd and the other one.
Well, we had two major, let me tell you where the town is on two counts of litigation.
Could you speak up a little bit on this?
Sure. I said, let me tell you where we are on two matters of litigation. And to show you, I think in some respects, how you're sort of behind the eight ball with some of this stuff. We started condemnation, I guess, for the Browns Mills Shopping Center years ago. And we now own it because we had an appraisal that said the property would be worth around 2.3. Don't hold me to the exact number, 2.3 or so. The property owner, the prior property owner, has an appraisal that says it was worth $4.4 million. That's how much money he wanted. The town had a trial, and the judge sort of played King Solomon. The judge said that the property's worth around $2.7 million. So now this case is on appeal to the appellate division, because, and we're just getting into it, I think because, we think that was too high and the property owner thinks it's too low. What I'm trying to bring up is, we have a contract to sell that property to this company called New Horizons. They're gonna buy the property, they've gotten through our planning board, they still have some other outside approvals to get to. But our contract, and I don't know the exact numbers, please, our contract to sell the property to New Horizons is about $2.7 million. So we have contracted to sell the property for what it's gonna cost us to buy it, at least. And that doesn't factor in the last 3, 4, 5 years of litigation, what those expenses are. So we didn't do a real good job on investing on this piece of real estate. Now, the thought is, of course, obviously, that eventually there'll be new tenants and rejuvenate the site, and I guess that's all part of it. But stay tuned. That's one of the matters that are still in litigation, and the council and the administration has said, we can cut this cord somehow. We're gonna try to figure this out. That was I'm sorry.
No.
I was to investigate a matter that came up last year about, I guess it was the I really don't know enough about the termination of one of our code enforcement officer type people, and how he was terminated and why. And we're gonna start looking into that. We've been directed by the council to do that, and that's what we're gonna do. Stay tuned. Did I answer your question?
All right, so we'll get with you on that then, and,
Yeah, it's gonna take a little time, but we'll get there.
okay. All right, got a couple communications through in regards to some still concerns over the address on Magnolia Road with the removal of soil. Do we know anything about that right now?
I haven't heard anything new in quite some time.
Okay. All right. As far as department heads, is there somebody that we're looking for in particular to appear at this meeting?
We gotta get this dump truck hammered out. And, I gave somebody all the information for the truck wash.
Okay.
And
So it's-
then I was emailed with some never heard before. And they want a drive-through.
Right.
And if they would have had the opportunity to watch the films and all the information I got for the car wash, a drive-through won't work for them.
Okay.
Because you need a place to put the equipment, so if you pull the vehicle in, the machine does its, whatever it's gotta do, and then you back the vehicle up. So, there's so much equipment that goes with operating this car wash that you can't have a drive-through unless you wanna put an addition on the building.
Okay.
And
So let's try it this way then. And Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, because you are the solicitor, so council holds quote unquote subpoena power, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so the
Yes.
next meeting date is when?
February 1st.
February 5th. Okay, so we will enact those said subpoena powers and ask for the Department of Public Works to be present at the meeting.
well, Josh, we could do it on a Wednesday during the day, so he doesn't have to worry about coming out,
Well, it's only gonna work at the meeting,
Okay.
so
I'm just
so
trying to make it convenient for people.
we'll draft that document up and, do that. Thank you. All right. That's all I got.
Can I look?
Yes. Town halls, yeah. Councilman Bianchini, brings up a good point. I discussed this with him this week. And then he went on hiatus. But either way, the quarterly town hall meetings will begin to commence, potentially next month. Myself and, the rest of the council will, individually discuss what months and what quarters we're going to take and where we're going to be, meeting the community. I would like to visit, just so everybody knows tentatively right now, Country Lakes area first, since they have been sorely, unfortunately, and apologetically, neglected, so to speak, down in that area, by the council who was making those, town hall meetings the past 2 years. So we will get down there, hopefully we find someplace where we can, where two of us can get together, and we'll discuss with the rest of the council members, who's taking what quarter. But we will get that posted on the township website, and get the agendas out there and timelines out there. So we want to still get back out into the community, discuss everything with everybody, and make sure that objective is met in regards to the transparency. And we'll get more transparency and more answers here as soon as we possibly can, as everybody can see. So we need answers, we'll get to the answers. So thank you very much, that's all I have.
Council President, I forgot one thing in terms of transparency. There's some things I can say publicly and some things we don't want to say publicly because we're still going to be discussing and negotiating with some of the developers. But somebody brought up the Greenberg Farm, Cahill. Just to give you an example as to how the existing administration and the council were sort of saddled with some of these agreements. The agreement that was entered into 4 or 5 years ago with KHOG requires that the town would provide water to the KHOG development, which is about 450 age restricted houses, I think. I don't know the exact number. And we would provide water to them within 90 days after they get their approvals. Well, we had no water to give them, and the 90 days, I think, ends right around now. And they, of course, want to get started. We have discussed with them the fact that if we have any money, we're not gonna spend it on that. There is a need for expenses for an engineer, our township engineer, to design part of the system, what we're calling phase 1. I don't wanna get into the weeds too much for you. There's phase 1 and phase 2. Each about half of the units, 160 on one and 170 on the other section. Phase 1 requires us to lay pipe to connect to the borough's water system. Because the borough, at least on an interim basis, is going to feed the water for these units. But we agreed to design the system for that, to employ, to lay the pipe for that, to purchase and install the water meter. It's a large water meter at the boundary line of the town, so that both the borough and the township would know how much water we're buying from the borough. We advised KHOG over the last few weeks, based on directions we've received, we ain't paying for it. So we received an estimate from our engineer as to what initially those costs would be. And so the cost to design, you still have to get the permits to buy this rather involved water meter and have it installed and do the connection with the brother. Just the engineering cost be about $40,000. KHOG is buying the piping, but our DPW is going to install the piping. Installing the water piping is not a big deal, just a little crunch. But we advise KHOG, we're not paying for that $40,000. You are, and they are. In addition, however, phase 2, which is the second half of that development, well, let me back a little bit. The agreement that the town signed 3 or 4 years ago said that we would take care of all the water, not only for here, but for the northern end, I think it was the northern end of the town. And we would apply for a USDA grant and get the money. We never did. So we don't have independent funds to do this, what we told. What's in that agreement that we would do. Phase 2 of the Greenberg Farm development requires the construction of a large standpipe, a water tank, booster pumps. Now you get into real money, you know. And we have advised the councils and the administration, but certainly me, to advise KHOG, we don't have the money. So we believe there will be an agreement entered into, I think before next meeting, that KHOG is gonna upfront all those fees. It's gonna be a lot of money. It's gonna be 7 figures. And KHOG will upfront at least pay for the design and the permitting and the construction of all of those water capital improvements, which will service not only the remainder of that development, but also some of the surrounding areas. They're gonna upfront the money. We will provide credit to them as they build. When they want a CO, they have to pay connection fees. We're gonna provide a credit to them to effectively reimburse them for some of those expenses as a credit towards some of the connection fees. So, if they build out the project, there's more than enough connection fees to reimburse them their expenses, plus keep money for the town for whatever else we need for the water improvements. So that's in the works. We also need to speak with, tomorrow I'm gonna speak with the attorney for the town, for the Pemberton, you call it city, or that we buy water from them, and we serve as their sanitary sewer to an extent. We're gonna try to talk to them about revising that agreement a little bit, and stay tuned. There are other things that we've been instructed to do, but we'll tell you about it when we can. Most of those things involve negotiations with, these various developers, and we don't wanna, show our cards yet. Thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn?